Well, now we're kind of halfway through. I'm going to talk about a little bit of skateboarding stuff. For the skateboarders here, I see Mr. I Collect Mountains is on here. Thank you for joining me. I think I've got most everybody. Uh, let's see what I was looking for. I couldn't find, but I did find all but one of the Powell postcards that I have. So in the 80s, Powell made up these postcards for us to sign at shops for demos. And so they would send them ahead, and the shops would have them to sign. They would have the tour posters as well. And then we would take some of these on the road with us. But so let's go through the ones that I do have. The one I couldn't find, unfortunately, the one I was looking for was the Stacy Peralta one, and I couldn't find it. So anyway, so this is here. I'll fan them out a little bit. Oh, I dropped one. Okay, let's sort of do a little. Well, I'll try. We'll do sort of a mismatch of the Powell postcards, and I'll peek behind that for my thumbnail. Everybody say a thumbnail. Okay, so yes, so they had a couple different versions for everybody throughout the years, but that way when we went on the summer tours, we'd have something to sign for each of us, and then maybe the kids would actually know who they're talking to. Not always. So let's start with the top two. Here is none other than Mr. Lance Mountain at the there's a ramp in Nebraska. I forget what they called the contest, but yeah, that for non-skateboarders, this is called a sad plant, and originated at a little place called Moon Park in Anaheim, which came to be known as Sadlands. And Sadlands was these weird craters, moon-like craters, and they were hard to do tricks on. And the only way to make a hand plant at Sadlands was to kind of push your board forward, and it sort of morphed into that. And that became the sad plant because of Sadlands. So if you didn't know, Sadlands, sad plant. And the reason Sadlands was Neil Blender was there probably with John Lucero and maybe Neil and Lester Kasai and Terrence Yoshizawa, and then the Spada brothers were there probably too. But they were skating it one day, and Neil just kind of out of the blue said, "This place is sad. This place is sad. This is a sad land." Da, 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 da. Neil Blender, Sadlands. Yeah, so sad plant. Okay. The next one, backside slash, Lance Mountain paying tribute to his 70s heroes while in Sweden at the infamous Swedish summer camp. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what it says back here. Wait. Ripping a stylish one-wheel splashback at Euro Ramp, Sweden. Lance Mountain number 2. He probably had more. And now you'll see, I had these taped up. When I worked at Lose Records, I had them taped up next to me. You might know this kid, Anthony Frank. And this is, where is he? In Houston? Tony Hawk. Oh gosh, it's all blurry. Blazing the Madonna lean detail over the channel in Houston, Texas. Anthony Frank. Then one of my heroes of all time, Mr. Steve Caballero, a very, very high, now called Weddle Grab, formerly known as the Mute Air, but the reason, because Chris Weddle invented it, who is deaf, and I don't know why it became a Mute Air. It misinformed kids. So anyway, but it has been changed. We call it the Weddle Grab, or Air now, because he should have credit for the trick he invented. But this is Steve Caballero going quite a bit overhead in Houston, Texas, in the mid '80s. Oh wait, 80. Oh, there's a date on here somewhere. 86. Who do we have next? We have Mike Mcgill. And also from 86, this is an eggplant. Yes, grabbing front hand on the coping, backhand on the board, pulling a tuck-knee eggplant during France's summer camp in Bourges, 1986. No photo credit. Okay. The legendary Mr. Tommy Guerrero, Capitola, giant jump ramp air. Jump ramp is nowhere to be seen because he's too high and too far away from it to get it in the picture. But yes, one of my heroes because just super stylish and really funny guy, and of course now a fabulous musician. Lots and lots of great music from him. Tommy Guerrero blasting a rather high street ramp air in Capitola, California during the Capitola Street Classic. And Tommy's street board, his board, although he's riding a Rat Bones board in there. I don't know if you can see it, but predating his model. But his model was one of my favorites. I rode that one a lot. I rode a bunch of those. Let's see. Oh, Per Welinder, not Wielander. Welinder. Yes, this one. Wait, 1986. Fully stretching a no-handed 50-50 in a Blue Oyster Cult video, Dancing in the Ruins. So now we have to go find Blue Oyster Cult Dancing in the Ruins so we can see Per Welinder doing this in the video. Jesse Martinez in Venice. That's a cool one. Wall ride. And the Tommy Guerrero just posted a really funny picture of himself doing a wall ride, and his caption was killing me. Rider of walls, acre of backs, complainer of knees. And that's why we're all injured from doing stuff like that. Going straight to the ground. All right. Wall jamming off a jump ramp at Venice Beach, Jesse Martinez. Jesse, I think the only rider to ever be actually removed from the Powell team. Yeah. Sorry, Jesse. But I think there was some good reason. There must have been. All right. One of my favorite people of all time, and I went to Japan with Lance and Stevie and Mr. Kevin Harris. This is Kevin doing a G-turn at the Del Mar Skate Ranch in the Res. The Res, my favorite all-time skate spot of all time for forever and ever. If the Res was still here, I'd be skating there right now, for sure. Yes, so Mr. Kevin Harris, G-turning during one of the many Del Mar Freestyle Pro-Ams. Really great person. One of my favorite people in the world. Oh, jeez, for sure. Look, there's another Anthony Frank McTwisting it up at Lance's ramp. And this one, 540 McTwist over the channel. Lance is during the filming of Future Primitive, Bones of Grade Video Show 2. There we go. Yes, Future Primitive, where I have one shot, and I think it's a bail shot actually. Judo air to knee slide in that one, and this guy. The godfather of modern street skating, whether people like it or not, I know most people do. Mr. Mullen, Mr. Rodney Mullen, and again, a really good friend, and we spent a lot of time together on the road and at contests, and then just hanging out when he was at Tony's. But let's see, Rodney Mullen, no hands so-and-so during off time in Sweden's summer camp in Stockholm. Yep. Freestyle king, but also kind of just invented so many things, because that's what happens when you're a physics major. Your mind is constantly going. Just genius. Yes, he truly is a genius. Yeah. Bill Billing, yes, the Res is definitely the favorite of the favorites. I know. Lanny, that Rodney Mullen photo. I know. Who took the photo? No photo credit. There's no photo credit. But I'm guessing Lance took this photo. Maybe Lance took that photo when he was there with them. And then, oh, my good friend, Mr. Ray Underhill. Miss you, buddy. Rest in peace. Gosh, it's been many years since we lost Ray. Ray Underhill launching a stylish Madonna lean air across the channel at Ken Park's ramp. Just says Ken's ramp. And so this is just a one-footed lean, not to tail, just straight in. And I think I stole that from him because he could do that. And then I figured, well, I want to learn that one because that looks really rad. But yes, so Mr. Ray, 1986. Sorry for the tape on the edges, but he was up on the wall at Lose Records for 10 years, right alongside with me. So, yeah, that's what I have. Oh, here's mine. This one at Lance's ramp. Oh, hey, here's the answer to the question. Newly turned pro, AD, Japanning a mean and contorted one over the mountain ramp airwaves. Photo Grant Britain, 1987. So there we have it. I turned pro in 1987, according to this postcard. You learn something new every day. This one, though, has a little more import to me. Rocket Air and Comb Your Hair. So, yes, Adrian Domain, rocketing over ramp and rooftop at the Cucamonga ramp in Southern California. Rancho Cucamonga. So, the trick and whatever is whatever. But for me, the real importance of this photo for me is that Stacy Peralta took the photo. He drove me out there. I met up with him somewhere, and then we drove out to Rancho Cucamonga in the one of his infamous Volvos, station wagon, of course. So this one comes from the very first batch of postcards I got, and it'll be backwards right now. It'll be corrected to there. But I hold it up because it says, AD, hope you dig these, Stacy. So Stacy, I had met Stacy before I got on the team. I met him at Tony's house. But, of course, Stacy was one of those guys that's just sort of the legendary figurehead of... I had seen him in the movie Freewheelin' and then Skateboard Madness. But in Freewheelin', he's kind of the kid in high school. It's like I'm figuring out who I am. I want to be a skateboarder, but, I got to work at the old spaghetti factory. But he's determined to... do something with the skateboarding thing. And he goes on a little road trip with Tom Sims and, I forget who else. But they kind of go up the coast and Big Sur and Santa Barbara and skate some things. And so if you can find Freewheelin', it probably wouldn't be the level of modern skateboarding by any means. But at the time, for me, it meant the world because it was my first glimpse into skateboarding moving. Before that it was just Skateboarder magazine. And so Stacy was in there, and just for me, I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. And he continued to kind of have that image of like you could make something with this skateboarding thing. And he went to Australia, and there's a scene where he goes and quits his job at the end of the movie. I forget the boss. He's like, Mr. So-and-so, I quit. And he leaves. And he goes to Australia and becomes a famous skateboarder. So it sort of paralleled his actual life. But, so Stacy, for me, when I met him before I got on the team, I was just like, oh, my God. Stacy Peralta's at Tony's house. And I can't believe this. I'm standing next to Stacy Peralta. And so over the next couple of years, getting to kind of interact with him. And then, the fateful day of being at Tony's. And I've told the story, but being at Tony's after a contest and Rodney Mullen sitting on the phone. For people who weren't there, sometime last year I talked about this, Rodney sitting on the phone quietly for like 20 minutes. And we're just kind of watching TV. And Rodney hangs up the phone really quietly. And he gets up and he walks past me. And this is 83. And he walks past me. He says, "I think you're getting on Powell." And I was like, "Huh?" So yeah, I think you're going to get on Powell. I was like, "Wow, really?" And it turns out that Stacy and Tony were on the phone talking, and Tony convinced Mr. Tony Hawk convinced Stacy that I should ride for Powell. And I got home, and there was a message. My mom took down the message and said, "Hey, Stacy Peralta called. He wants you to call him." I was like, "Oh, Stacy Peralta called my house." I could not believe it. Yeah, so dream come true to ride for Powell. It was just kind of the epitome of elite for me. And then so to have Stacy take you to a ramp, do a photo session with you, and kind of guide you through some things. But he also just gave really good life advice, which at the time I didn't all register. But now that as I grow older, a lot of those things that he was trying to tell me make more sense now. And so I will always be thankful for his guidance as sort of like, well, sort of father figure, more like big brother figure to us, because I know he didn't want to be dad to us. He's only a few years older than me, so definitely doesn't want to be dad. But yeah, definitely the very important big brother, and just a good guy, for sure. And hey, man, that was his thing. The people on here that know Stacy, they know about that. Hey, man, but see, you guys haven't had the, "Hey, man, I don't think we have anything we can use." I don't wish that upon anyone. No one ever wants to hear Stacy Peralta say that when you're trying to film for a video. But oh well.